dial. This is what talk radio is supposed to sound like with your hosts Dave Carney and Chad Forster. This is Live Las Vegas.
And welcome to News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave Carney, joined by my co-host, Chad Forster, welcoming you guys to a lovely Friday afternoon here in the Valley. Chad, how the heck are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. Yourself, Dave?
Well, you know, I'm just fit as a fiddle and feeling fantastic. I'm going to try to get in more F words throughout the day, but I will be careful. There we go.
You got to be careful because we don't have to hit that dump button. That's
right.
Good.
I don't like it. You know what? That's what. Thank you, Angie. She just dumped me. Thank you. No, we're gonna be good. It's gonna be a great show. We've got a ton to talk about today, and we've got a big weekend ahead. So not only is there going to be a ton of news, we've got a great sports carnival for you, and then later on in the show, we're going to be telling you about a lot of cool stuff going on here in Las Vegas. This is truly a colorful weekend in the city that never sleeps. Right now, let's jump into the live news.
And now, for an all-new look at stories from around the world and around the town, here's the live news.
All right, Chad, here we are opening up the live news. And we want to welcome everybody joining us online, listening to us at KDWN.com. This segment is going to be dedicated, Chad, to the listeners here on KDWN because we've got a very big question and one that I think really needs to be asked. And I think it's something that people need to start addressing on an individual basis and not just their representatives. The crisis in Iraq heating up again to a near boiling point. President Obama, speaking yesterday to the joint media, stated that he's sending Secretary Kerry overseas along with other military advisors. And as we have been reading, Chad, and watching here over the last week and a half, this ISIS group, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, is joining forces with some other groups in Iraq to create some real turbulence and what could lead to ultimately a civil war. So before we get into the details, I want to pose this question to the listeners here on KDWN, and that is it worth the United States getting involved again with Iraq? Now, I know that a lot of folks say, hey, we broke it, we've got to fix it. I want to know what you think, and I want to hear your calls. 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-5396. Is it worth it to the U.S. to get involved in Iraq again? Now, Chad, you've been following this story pretty extensively here over the last week. You know, bring me up to some of the latest in what you know from multiple reports out there.
Well, the first thing you have to do is figure out what's ISIS, because that was the first thing I had to figure out. Okay, what does this mean? The Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, also known as the Islamic State of Iraq and al-Sham, which is basically greater Syria, which encompasses more than just Syria and Iraq. It also encompasses a little bit of Jordan and Lebanon. So ISIS is kind of a leftover of the Baathists, which were tied to Saddam Hussein, also part of Al-Qaeda. And these guys are basically trying to make their own state, and they've surrounded Baghdad at this point. And then on top of that, I mean, it's basically splintering and balkanizing the whole area because the Kurds in the northeastern part of Iraq have taken over a city there as well. But the thing that's concerning about this is that not only is it happening here, but obviously with all the stuff that's going on in the border, and some of these leaders, one of the leaders of ISIS, who was actually held by the United States and let go 4 years ago, said, "I'll see you in New York." So these are the things that, to me, that are scary, but I don't know how we get involved in this without making it a bigger mess than we already have. Not to mention, number one, economically, can we afford it? Number two, do we want to expend any more American lives than we already have? I mean, 4,500 people have died in this. In my opinion, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear from you guys today. 702-257-5396. 702-257-KDWN. Get online with us here on Live Las Vegas. Share your opinion. Chad, a lot of pundits right now, even one of these senators, Lindsey Graham, is saying that we could be in store for a big terrorist, happening. They don't really necessarily specify what, but Lindsey Graham basically intimated the other day that something was on the horizon. Now, this could be looked at in a lot of different ways. It could be looked at Lindsey Graham, obviously very powerful member, of the Senate, and has a lot of insight and a lot of access to intelligence. At the same time, it could be looked at as trying to drum up fear in order for us to get back into Iraq. What do you think is going on behind the scenes to cause somebody so prominent to really come out and say something like this?
Well, I think it's a combination of a couple things. When you stir the bee's nest, both in Ukraine and in the Middle East, on top of our porous borders with 47,000 unaccompanied children coming across the border with supposedly gang members that the border agents have identified and noticed, have seen these guys before, have the tattoos. They're being let in the country. In fact, I found this article. I thought this was interesting. The headline was 3 Ukrainian men arrested in Brewster County in Texas. This is out of a small station in Texas, saying that these 3 guys were wandering across the border and were picked up. I mean, it's just, who knows? Because you never know if one of these guys, if it's so easy to get in, you never know if one of these guys is carrying some kind of weaponized material, some kind of bomb. They have some kind of idea, some kind of plot, and we kind of have that, the instigation with what's going on in Iraq and Syria, and then what's going on in Ukraine. So I kind of think it leads, guys like Lindsey Graham to believe that there's a possibility that we have another 9/11. Now, does he have any other information than that, or is he just saying that? Is he fear-mongering? I don't know, but I think we're in one of these precarious situations, and I don't know how do we get out of it. I honestly don't.
Well, apparently you, I, and about everybody else in the media has the same conclusion. We've got to do something. We're just not sure what that is, and that's what I'd like to get from you guys out there listening to us today here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Give us a buzz, 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-KDWN. And share your opinion. Should the United States get re-involved in Iraq? Or as like Chad, you just mentioned here, the growing concerns at the border in Texas and Arizona. Reports recently are showing 47,000 unaccompanied minors from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador have entered the U.S. illegally over the last couple of months. Now, this isn't just a surge of adults coming across our border and perhaps, watering a job market as everybody's so concerned about. These are unaccompanied minors, children under the age of 18 coming across here illegally. And if we look at, our presence right now in the world, we've already withdrawn all these troops from Iraq, creating this basic void, which a lot of people kind of thought was inevitable anyways by the way that we had to exit out. But now we're facing some real concerns, as you mentioned, here on our border. And I think that's what's leading to the big question. What do we do about Iraq, or do we shore up our own side of the fence? And I've got to say, from a Nevadan, somebody out here in the Southwest, I want to see the Southwest protected before I want to see the Middle East rebuilt.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the number one thing about sovereignty in a nation is you got to protect your borders. And for whatever reason, we've decided we don't care. And some of the accusations, at least from the right side, and some of this is backed up in newspapers across the world, is that this is actually being encouraged by the United States government, that down in Central America, down in Guatemala, and those places, in the newspaper, it's saying, go to America, free amnesty, free benefits, go. And so you can't blame the kids and the parents that send the kids because of the living conditions down there. But at the same time, at some point, we got to protect our own interests. I was telling you off the air, looking at this report that came out last month about jobs and how, the unemployment dropped from like 6.3 to 6.1, but that's not counting all of the people that aren't no longer seeking work or underemployed. It's like 92 million people are either underemployed or out of work in this country. That's a third. That's a third of the country. And then if you actually do the math and look at how many people are eligible to work, the age of work is only like 160 million people. So if we pour in another 47,000, 65,000, 100,000, or whatever it is, whether they're men, women, or children, at some point we run out of resources. And then how do you house these kids? And then on top of that, one of the other stories that's coming out is all of the diseases that are coming along with these guys that are coming across the border, whether it's hepatitis or malaria or measles or tuberculosis. All of these things are obviously a threat here in this country. And we have to take care of ourselves first. As much as my heart goes out to these kids, and if you've seen some of the pictures that are coming out from down in Texas and Arizona, which Sheriff Arpaio,
yeah.
He's saying that he thinks that it's part of a ploy from the president, and that he's doing it on purpose because ultimately then he's going to say, yeah, see, we need immigration reform, and then he implements his immigration policy that caters to what he wants. I don't know if that's true or not, but this seems pretty dramatic. I mean, there's a lot of border agents and stuff that are quitting over this. They're going to social media, trying to find different outlets to get this information out there.
Yeah, it's really a growing problem. Obviously, in border states, Texas and Arizona, the two that we're talking about here in this case, and Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who gained some notoriety a couple of years back when Jan Brewer, the governor of Arizona, started to implement some rather dubious kind of laws when it came to how they profile people in Arizona. But you can see that this is a real problem. And again, I mean, I'm with the folks that are coming here to the United States looking for a better way of life. Nobody can blame anybody for looking for a better way of life. But I do think that the way that we help is by spending less in military actions, by going to Iraq and trying to, rebuild a sovereign nation, and use more of those resources in a humanitarian way to keep the folks that are, in bad shape in Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, give them some of the resources as opposed to send it over, so that way maybe they're not looking to come to the country so quickly.
Well, not to mention, maybe pick out a couple terrorists that are coming across the border to do God knows what.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, send them back. We don't want them. All right, guys, it's 1:15 here on Friday. We're going to step aside, take our first look at traffic. When we come back, we're going to talk about downtown Las Vegas cracking down on open containers. It's not as bad as you think, but you're going to want to hear this. Stay with us.
And it is 1:15 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, brought to you by MyCleanPC.com. If your computer is running slow, go to MyCleanPC.com and get a free computer diagnosis in minutes. You can activate MyCleanPC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. Increase your computer speed today with MyCleanPC.com. That's MyCleanPC.com. On the Valley Freeways, NHP is still clearing a wreck on 95 southbound at Elkhorn. On the streets, watch out for slowing on Buffalo at Lake Mead. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Happy Friday. This is Chad Forster from KDWN 720's Pawn Talk Live and live in Las Vegas to give you today's Precious Metal Report. Brought to you by Max Pawn of Las Vegas, located on the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones. Now open every day, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Spot gold trading yesterday tore through the $1,300 mark to $1,313.40, gaining 2.7%. Silver also took a jump with a 9% increase. Today's precious metal prices are gold is at $1,316, silver $20.89, and platinum $14.58. Do you need extra cash this weekend? Visit Max Pawn to sell your unwanted gold, silver, platinum, coins, diamonds, watches, art, antiques, designer handbags, and more. For free phone estimates or questions, call 702-253-7296. That's 702-253-7296. And don't forget to visit Max Pawn's new sister vintage store, Exile on Main Street, located at 1007 South Main Street. Stop by tonight from 8 p.m. to midnight for Biker Night with a live band and drinks by Sailor Jerry.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney and Chad Forster.
Yeah, welcome back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN, coming at you worldwide at KDWN.com. You can follow me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you care to be that daring, at Dapper Dave C. And you can also follow my buddy Chad over here at Chad Tweets Stuff. Really good follow there, especially.
I'm plus 60 now.
You're plus 60.
I'm plus 60. I've got quite a few followers now.
Hey,
man.
listen, when they're real followers and you've got that kind of power, I would have let our advertisers know that this guy's got 60 people he can send right to your door, okay? And that really means something. Back here on the show, guys, we opened up with some really big talk on Iraq and, of course, what the U.S. should do about the situation in Iraq. Should we get back into this, or should we stay here right at home and deal with the 3,784 problems we have facing us every single day?
You know, the sad thing, we're actually asking Iran for help now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's when you know how bad it is.
Listen, Jon Stewart, I got to give him credit the other night. He did a great bit on The Daily Show, and he kind of went with this, who do we support web? And
confusing.
It was the most convoluted thing, and we end up, we're going to have to support Al-Qaeda again? Oh, man, this is just not going to work out.
Iran is mostly Shiite.
Yes.
Right? And obviously the ISIS, they're backed by Sunni and the Baathists. And so that's where they're going to get support, is the Shiite are going to come and help against the Sunni. But it's like depends on what day it is, what side we're on. And I mean, the Sunni and Shiites like Hatfield and McCoy, man. This is never going to end. I mean, it's not. I'm sorry, it's just not. I mean, thousands of years, all of a sudden we're like, no, hold on, guy. Yeah, but we're here now.
Wow,
it's different with us.
Well,
no, it's not.
No, but we like to brand things real easy. We like to have like a little one-stop shop. We like it to be the Walmart. Everything's in one place. It's the same. And this is really, I think, when the United States went into the Middle East, let's say just a tad hastily after just after 9/11, I don't think that the proper considerations were made with the long-term effect. Now, even Dick Cheney in a 1994 article that we researched recently here noted, in plain public view, the reason they did not take Saddam Hussein out was because of destabilization, balkanization, and civil war.
Exactly
in
what's
Iraq.
happened.
Exactly what's happening.
I mean, it's eerie. You watch that interview, and the question was, why didn't you guys take over Baghdad when you had the chance and take down Saddam Hussein? He's like, well, because that would just cause all kinds of problems, and again, it would balkanize it, and you'd have civil war, and it would just be untenable. Well, that's exactly what has happened. But yet now he's backing off on that because he was actually drilled by somebody on Fox about that, and he's saying, well, no, it's all Obama's fault. Well, no, idiot, you're the one that started this whole thing. Obama just kind of continued what you guys started.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this is just a mess. Seriously, I don't know what you do. And the bad thing about for us is that, it's a matter of time when, oil hits $250 a barrel or something, and we're paying $10 a gallon at the gas pump.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And what that's going to also affect is our domestic energy prices here. So I do want to give a little shout out to my friends over at Solar City right now. Solar City, who is coming over to my house, hooking up an absolutely free solar system, which is going to reduce my bills by up to 40%. Okay, dig that 40% reduction of my bills. Give Solar City a call or look them up online, solarcity.com. And remember the promo code DC, Dave and Chad 720, DC 720 for some special offers there. Chad, we're going to actually be rolling out a really neat promotion with Solar City pretty soon where we're going to offer $150 gift cards for everybody that goes and registers under the DC 720 code name. Now, with Iraq, obviously, we look at domestic, or oil, how that gets produced. With Las Vegas, what we look at is
it's working a drink.
Yeah, it's a different kind of fuel, okay? It's an alcohol, so we've got, methane type of a fuel.
Yeah.
And we really enjoy our drinking. And this brings us to our next topic here on the program, Chad, and that is the city of Las Vegas, downtown in specific, is now reducing the kinds of open containers which can be consumed on Fremont Street.
Yeah, glass, liquor, and aluminum. But basically, what they're targeting are the little stores down there, the little cigar shops and ABC stores, and it's the containers what they're trying to do because. Let's face it, all the casinos are down there like, well, we don't want them cutting into our profits because what people are doing is they're going in and getting themselves a tall boy for $1.50 as opposed to going and get a $30 football beer or whatever.
Well, let me just tell you,
the
the tall boys, which should be $1.50, are still $3 when you go to buy
them. Are they $3?
Yeah,
okay,
they totally jack you.
I have not purchased a tall boy in a long time.
Well, that's true.
But that's basically what they're trying to claim, and I can kind of see both sides of it. I mean, you don't want a lot of vagrants down there drinking out of paper sacks and whatnot. But at the same time, I mean, it's pretty clear cut that this is the big boys saying, "Hey, don't mess around in our backyard."
Now, do you think it's going to be interesting to see the homeless now walking around with, instead of beer cans, I mean the big yard sticks? Because people just dump those in the trash, and you have to figure these are going to be recycled back in there.
I don't know. So, is it going to be? Maybe it's downtown Fremont sponsored by Red Solo Cup. I don't know.
Great point. But that's a decent promotion. Red Solo Cup might want to look into that.
I understand the glass part of it from a safety perspective. Yeah. But the aluminum part, that's what gets me. It's like that's clearly you just don't want anybody buying cheaper beer over at the store and drinking it out here as opposed to going into the casino or going wherever down there and buying a drink at 50% increase in price.
Now, let me ask you: could this have been a small tourism ploy by, say, the LVCVA or another nonprofit tourism agency wanting to get the message out that when you are, attacked by a plastic football or a foot long, as opposed to a glass bottle downtown, it actually makes for better stories when you go back to Ohio or somewhere in the Midwest. Like, man, I was almost killed by this plastic football. It's awesome. You talk about a bottle on the head. I mean, those things can be seriously dangerous, and then it goes sideways.
Well, it's not just that football, it's that giant. Have you seen the one that's like the yard?
Oh, yeah, I've got one of those.
It's literally like 3 feet long.
Absolutely. It's a full yard.
And it's full of God knows what's in there. What's in there?
You go to it's at Margarita Place, so it's kind of like island flavor. So you can get,
Sex on the beach?
Yeah, or pina coladas and things like that. A lot of frozen frothy things.
See, now I can see that used as a weapon. That's
sure.
like a baseball bat.
Well, it's like a lightsaber, absolutely. Now, of course, they're cracking down as well on lightsabers and all sorts of other street performers downtown. So we're actually witnessing the end of the old new Fremont Street. As Fremont Street kind of continues to redevelop itself, the street performers who we had seen, the drinking, freely, this is all going away.
Well, I'm not a big fan of authoritarianism and jackboot thugs, but I think that they have done some great work down there. I mean, it has cleaned up, and I don't think it's been too over the top. I think they've been pretty reasonable for the most part. And this seems like a logical thing to do. You can't have these open containers in New York, Times Square.
That's true.
So, I mean, it makes sense. And the other thing they did do, it looks like that they They kind of altered a little bit the actual fine. They kind of lowered that. They're not going to be as stringent on that. $1,000 fine up to 6 months in jail. I don't think that's really going to happen because obviously that could shoo tourists away. We don't want that. But they have increased the fine. It looks like for some of these establishments selling more than they should. So it's like ABC stores. One of the stores that actually has a beef about this and is going to try to take it to court.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Listen, I think it's something that if you're one of those store proprietors, it's got to be a real crimp. Obviously a crimp in your business. It could be debilitating to the point of losing 40% of your sales. Now, Chad, from over the top. From going over the top, I want to talk about a couple of animals that are going down. And this comes to us from a story over in, I believe, the UK Telegraph, documenting a couple of bears. Now, get this, bears found in captivity. They're in a zoo who are engaging in fellatio. Chad, did you know that not only the birds do it, the bees do it, but apparently the bears do it too?
Yeah, this is actually literally the headline. Brown bears caught performing oral sex. And this is happening in Russia, which has got to really piss off Putin.
Absolutely.
Not a big fan
of gay bears.
Of gay bears.
No.
And he's been outspoken about that.
Yes,
he actually has a T-shirt that says something like, he has like the no gay bear thing across his chest. So, this is interesting. If you dig into it a little bit, apparently they're saying that these two bears were weaned a little too early, and they don't think it's necessarily for anything other than just.
Well, okay, so
instinct, I guess. I don't know.
No,
it's kind of creepy.
Listen, you look at the article, and what does it say? There's a number of different animals in the zoological world that do perform in some form of oral pleasure with the other. Cheetahs are an example. Fruit flies or fruit bats are another one that perform.
Well, they're fruit bats.
Well, now, that is for the female to keep the male for longer. But this one says now, Chad, if you read into the story about the bear, the dominant bear is always the one receiving the oral, and the submissive bear is always the one giving it. Now, do you think that says something else other than instinct? Could this be just for pleasure?
It could be. Maybe they're actually gay bears. I don't know. I thought was interesting is the guy that did this study, 116 hours he spent observing these bears on 28 separate acts. I'm just like, who's the guy who gets this job?
I don't know. And if he sells these videos, does he have to hold himself, accountable to the same standard as other bestiality things?
I don't. But that's not technically bestiality in this situation. It's a weird story. It was one of these that popped up. I caught it, and I'm like, wow, this is just. This is odd, and again, another thing that gets under Putin's skin, which doesn't help us with the Ukraine situation. We don't want to piss off Putin about gay bears. That's not good.
I have a feeling that one of these bears is going to end up making a very nice rug soon in the Kremlin or something like that. You're going to find this bear. Yeah, you've been dealt with. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they'll do because they can't. Well, either that or send him to Siberia. I guess.
Right. Well, then, he could have a polar bear problem. And we don't want that happening because that just gets into a whole other issue. Now. There's another story, Chad, that has really been making some waves, and it's not just in the sports community, but in a nation of people at large. The Washington Redskins name battle is really up for grabs again. The U.S. Patent Office is stripping the franchise of its trademark again. The first court battle began in 1999. The case was, of course, appealed a number of times by the Redskins, won.
And they won, yeah.
It's now up again. What is your thought here on the Washington Redskins and Daniel Snyder being, in some cases, forced to defend the legality of his name?
Well, initially I thought, this whole thing is silly, but then when you start to look into it, there may be, an ulterior motive here for Daniel Snyder because ultimately he can end up making more money off of merchandise.
That's right.
And if it looks like the league or a court forces him to change the name, then he doesn't piss off the majority of his fan base because they're like, okay, he didn't fold, and at the same time, he can, whatever they name the new team, he can go out and sell all these new jerseys and make, buttloads of money. Now, the only team that doesn't share in royalties when it comes to merchandise is the Dallas Cowboys. So all 31 teams would actually benefit them in this situation, too. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not Native American, but if Redskins is offensive, then it probably needs to be changed.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with you, in both cases. First of all, I think it's a great deal for a guy like Dan Snyder, who bought this team about 8 years ago and has watched the value of it probably double, maybe even triple in that time. He's got a franchise guy like Robert Griffin III, whose jerseys sell near the top of the league anyways. Yep. You give these guys a sleek new look, a new design, a new logo, they become the sexiest brand in the NFL overnight. Now, here's the other thing. From a social standpoint, Dan Snyder, obviously a Jewish American, and I was on another program the other day talking about this. You know, I really think that Dan Snyder, you know, being a Jewish American, would be more sensitive to some of the way that we characterize certain groups, because obviously there's a number of words that are very divisive and never used, you know, especially, you know, for Jewish Americans. And I would just expect him to almost take a leadership standpoint. So I get the proxy war idea of, hey, I don't want to stand, behind the name getting changed. We're going to keep it at the same point. You got to get on the right side of history. This thing will change.
I think eventually it's going to change, and there's no doubt about it.
All right, guys, it's 1:30 here on Live in Las Vegas. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we are jumping into the Sports Carnival, and later on, we've got the Entertainment Report. Stay with us here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, Mike.
What happens on News Talk 720 KDWN goes everywhere. On the air and online at KDWN.com. KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Broadcast Group station.
AP Update, I'm Ed Donahue. A House panel questioned the Commissioner of the IRS about missing emails linked to the central figure in the targeting of Tea Party groups who wanted tax-exempt status.
During a sometimes testy hearing, IRS Commissioner John Koskinen denied there's a cover-up in the crash of a number of computer hard drives that's resulted in lost emails, including those involving Lois Lerner. He told the committee a 3-week effort to retrieve her emails was unsuccessful.
It was determined that it was dysfunctional and that with experts, no emails could be retrieved, was recycled and destroyed in the normal process.
Congressman Paul Ryan didn't buy the claim the emails couldn't be retrieved.
I don't believe you.
Koskinen says the IRS Inspector General is investigating the hard drive failure. Jerry Bodlander, Capitol Hill.
And Koskinen also told the committee today that 8 federal employees connected to the Tea Party investigation experienced hard drive crashes. AP Update, I'm Ed Donahue.
The news brought to you by Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they believe the more you know, the better you can plan. Find your local agent at farmers.com or call 888-96-FARMERS. Brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
It's 1:32 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, brought to you by Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they believe the more you know, the better you can plan. Find your local agent at farmers.com or call 888-96-FARMERS. We've got a few incidents to report on the Valley streets. Look for an injury crash at Bermuda and Warm Springs, another on Flamingo at Mountain Vista, and traffic light problems are causing some stop and go at Lamb and Washington. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey presents Legends, an all-new circus spectacle beyond imagination. Experience the awe and wonder of living legends and mythical sensations like a Pegasus, a unicorn, and a woolly mammoth. Believe in the unbelievable, only at the greatest show on earth, where legends live. Treat your family to an unrivaled and unforgettable event of legendary proportions. Tickets start at $15. Restrictions and additional charges may apply. Playing now through Sunday at Thomas and Mack Center. Get your tickets today online at unlvtickets.com.
I'm in Yosemite National Park to talk Gold Bond Rapid Relief Cream with the Miller family. So how many itchy bug bites and rashes do you have?
33 bites.
34!
And a case of poison ivy.
It itches.
Do not scratch.
Miller family, relief starts now. Gold Bond has twice the itch-fighting medicine of hydrocortisone cream.
Ooh.
Plus aloe and vitamin E. It's fast relief on contact.
Feels better already. Who's up for a hike?
Look at the big kitty.
I'm out. Gold Bond Rapid Relief Cream. Relief starts now.
Summertime. Nothing beats a smoky barbecue burger, a refreshing summer cocktail, and a thrilling joyride through Gotham City. These are the new sounds of summer at Dave & Buster's. Right now you can play 4 hot new games free. Batman, Mock Storm, Octoscore, just some of 10 all-new games. Plus, get new drinks and food from the Maker's Mark Grill. Get to the summer of games at Dave & Buster's to play free today. Batman is trademarked and copyrighted by DC Comics S14. Offer valid through July 6, 2014. Visit daveandbusters.com for details.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney and Chad Forster.
And welcome back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney sitting next to Chad Forster, coming at you from the beautiful Beasley Broadcasting Studios. Great day out here in Las Vegas, about 100 degrees, and going to start to heat up this weekend, so make sure to get your suntan lotion on. Get back out to those pools, because it was a really, really awesome week here. We got into some high 80s, low 90s, but back in full swing. And speaking of full swing, full kick, and the full Monty, we're going to jump in to the Sports Carnival.
Covering the sports stories that come from everywhere. It's time for the Sports Carnival with Chad and Dave.
All right, Chad, starting off the Sports Carnival with what else but the World Cup, baby. 19 million plus Americans seem to be tuning into the World Cup nearly every single day here in the United States, making it one of the most highly rated programs in the country right now. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that the United States won its first game against Ghana 2-1, and the fact the United States have earned 3 points here so far in group play. But it sure looks like soccer is turning the corner in the States.
It's been exciting, with big names like Spain out, and I mean, it's
England is gone.
England gone, and America winning, and now America obviously playing Portugal, which got hammered by Germany, who's the United States' next opponent next Thursday on June 26th. So the only problem at this point with this game is that their big star Josie Altidore is out this Sunday. He's not going to play because of his strained hamstring.
Well, and Portugal's star, and probably, who has, best football player in the world, Ronaldo, is going to be playing. And everybody,
with a knee brace.
Well, everybody on his team seems to say that Ronaldo is 100% right now. But, Chad, when you look at the World Cup, I mean, here in the States, soccer hasn't been traditionally known as one of the bigger sports. But over the last decade and a half, Major League Soccer has taken the country by storm, selling out stadiums and arenas in every single city that they're in. And then we're seeing this here on the ratings side. And if you really combine, the ratings that we traditionally get from the Nielsen company, and then you add those with Univision, which we don't normally count, you get some amazing, amazing numbers. Do you think that soccer has turned the corner here in the States?
I think it might have. And, we're just kind of talking about it off the air. I think all those in the last couple decades of soccer moms and all the generation of kids that have played soccer now, I mean, that's one of their sports, where it used to be Little League and Pop Warner football, and now soccer has kind of taken the front space there. And I think on top of the fact that the demographic of the United States has changed dramatically with a lot of people from outside of the country that love soccer. I mean, outside of the United States, it's like a religion.
Well, absolutely. I mean, soccer's the most played sport in the world, and it's funny because I heard a clip from one of these soccer experts, and I can't remember his name now, talking on ESPN the other day, and he said it's interesting that here in America we invent a sport, we're the only ones to play it, and then we call ourselves world champions.
Yeah.
He's just like, no.
We're arrogant. That's what we do.
Yeah, well, he says this is the world's game. So when you want to play the world's game, this is where we see how you match. Don't invent our American football. Don't invent baseball and then claim that you're the best in the world because you invented the sport. Play what everybody else is playing, and let's see how we stack up. Now, this year's team, Yuri Klinsmann, the coach for the United States team,
not
here,
a motivational speaker, by
well,
the way.
it doesn't seem that way in public. But Chad, I got to ask you. I mean, after they beat a Ghana team, in the opening game of group play, was this perhaps part of Yuri's strategy overall, is to lower the expectations so much to like, hey, I'm just here on vacation. I just want to come to Brazil,
right,
drink some cocktails and see women. Now is this maybe something where, hey, this guy's got a trick up his sleeve here and he's pulling something out?
Well, obviously it doesn't help when your star's hurt, but it obviously worked. Maybe he knows something about his team. Clearly he knows something about his team that we don't, and it motivated him somehow, because I thought it would be the opposite. It's like this guy, it's like he's just crapping all over his team. Oh, we have no shot. That's not going to happen.
Well,
we shouldn't even go. We should stay home.
Exactly.
I'm like, dude.
Listen, you think when you cut Landon Donovan, possibly the biggest name on the club, right before the World Cup, it sends a pretty clear message, to the team that either A, it's a shakeup, or B, we're packing it in. But it turns out that maybe we didn't give Yuri enough credit, and what he's put together here is an ensemble of really, really talented players. Now, they're still kind of deciding who's going to take Altidor's place in the United States' next match against Portugal. But either of the players that they are going to put in place have both played in World Cup games and games for the United States. So hopefully they continue on this path.
They need at least a win or a tie to have any shot. Because I don't want to be a downer here, but there's not really a shot they're going to beat Germany. So there's
not really a shot they beat Portugal if Portugal plays well.
Well, that's true, but they have a better shot of beating Portugal over Germany.
Yeah. Well, that could be said.
Germany beat Portugal 5-1.
Yes, they did.
Hammered them.
Well, Germany, obviously one of the world's great soccer powers is really poised now with Spain out of the way, with England, who I guess technically in their group still has a 7.6% chance of making it out. But basically England is gone. You look at a country like Germany with the club that they have, and you have to say they're probably a favorite. Even Brazil, the host country at this point, after coming away with a draw against Mexico team, who limped, literally limped and lagged into the World Cup, their first World Cup in about 4 World Cups. You just didn't see what you were expecting to see out of that Brazil team. So big stuff coming up. Of course, the USA's next match is on Sunday, and in the entertainment report later on, we're going to tell you where you can catch one of these great matches. Now, Chad, another big news article here in the sports world, the recent for sale sign being put on the Buffalo Bills. The Wilson family, after the passing of Ralph a couple of months back, has been, listening to some offers, mostly public pleas from celebrity types and DBs from around the country about what they would offer for the Buffalo Bills. Well, now the family has officially put it up for sale. Who do we have as a list of some of the suitors for the Bills?
Well, the big name at this point, at least in my opinion, is Donald Trump. The Trumpster wants to get into the NFL. Obviously, he has history with the whole USFL thing that was a big flop.
Ruined that one. Thanks, Donald.
Honestly, I don't think we need another Jerry Jones type of guy in the NFL. I hope he is not the front runner, but he has definitely put his name in the hat. You were telling me Eddie Van Halen has a group that's possibly putting their hat in the ring.
Yeah, there is that. There is that report there too, and I think the one that's the really front runner though is this Toronto sports conglomerate, which is the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, Larry Tannenbaum, chairman of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and of course Edward Rogers, deputy chairman of Rogers Communications. That's probably the front runner. And then if you look at what the Bills have done the last couple of years and playing in Toronto, it kind of all fits together, although they have a lease till 2019 where they're at. But I think, like as you said off the air, you can get out of those leases. My guess is that they're the front runner, these guys out of Toronto, and that they're going to end up moving the team to either Toronto or Los Angeles is the other possibility. But I think if it's these guys that get it, they're going to take it to Toronto.
Yeah, I think it goes Toronto just because of the fact the Bills have been, establishing a presence up there in Toronto, playing at least one home game a year, and the market of 5 million people is ripe for this. Now, not to mention Canadian football, which is a super big deal up there, originated, in Toronto area with the Grey Cup. Going into 96 years. Football, American style, is really, really loved north of the border. This would make it the first international NFL team.
Yeah, it's true. The only issue is every time you play in Toronto, the field gets larger and you lose it down.
Hey,
but other than that, it's exactly the same.
Tim Tebow's begging that happens. He's like, maybe I can play quarterback again. And Chad, I had to correct myself, which I gave you the wrong information. It wasn't Eddie Van Halen, but John Bon Jovi's group is the one.
Well,
basic same.
Hair band.
I heard hair. I heard 80s music.
I thought that was weird. Yeah, because John Bon Jovi owns an arena team, the Philadelphia Soul.
Yeah, that's right. And here, late breaking news as well. Something I just pulled up off of the wire, but Vince Neil, proud owner of Girls, and of course former semi-decent rock star, has gotten permission from the Arena Football League to bring an arena football team to Las Vegas. The naming rights have already been secured, the Las Vegas Outlaws, and Vince is actually currently looking for a stadium deal. I kind of have an idea
they were here before.
Where that might be.
The Las Vegas Outlaws.
The name was here before, absolutely. He wants to resurrect
went to a couple
that.
Of games.
Yeah, well, good friend of ours, John Denton, played for the Las Vegas Outlaws and, suffered through a couple of miserable games.
I tell you what, arena football is fun. It's fast-paced.
Oh, it's awesome.
I mean, it's high-scoring, and obviously the field's a lot shorter, and it's a lot narrower, and there's a lot more opportunity for guys to fall in the stands and get injured and things of that nature. So it makes it fun.
Well, Arena Football League's new tag is Arena Football League concussions live here. All right, moving on to another bit of injury news here. We're looking forward to the NBA draft coming up on Thursday, and Chad, the projected number 1 overall pick, Joel Embiid, has suffered a broken foot. It's actually a stress fracture in his foot that he had surgery for this morning. Now, this is the same injury that plagued the career of great Bill Walton, that ended the career of Yao Ming, and is something that actually Zydrunas Ilgauskas suffered through for many seasons in Cleveland. Ilgauskas obviously finished out with 9 relatively healthy seasons there in Cleveland, but Embiid moving down. This shakes up the whole order.
My guess is he doesn't go number 1. He might drop 15, 20 spots, and I would have to say Jabari Parker goes to Cleveland. That's who I would take.
Jabari Parker or Andrew Wiggins out of Kansas, probably going to go 1 or 2. I say whoever. I just want the Lakers to get Dante Exum. All right, guys, it is 1:44 here on Friday. We're going to step aside, take our final look at traffic here on Live in Las Vegas. When we come back, we're talking Entertainment Uncovered, and guess what today is? You hear this flipping? It's National Flip Flop Day. Stay with us.
And yes, it's 144 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. On the freeways, look out for an injury crash, 95 southbound, just south of Boulder Highway. Also, a stalled vehicle is causing a backup on 15 southbound just before Russell. Your KDWN forecast today, sunny and clear with the high of 102. Right now, it's 98 degrees in Las Vegas. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Desiree Peoples on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, this is Greg from Jersey Electric, the largest residential solar installer in Las Vegas. We're changing the name of our solar division and launching a new website, which means big offers and more savings for our customers. Call 877-43-SOLAR, that's 877-437-6527 to hear more about our pre-launch specials. We're giving away Kindle Fires along with Sign Today, Save Today event. Don't wait for your PV system to be installed on your roof. Start saving money the day you sign your contract with us. Call 877-43-SOLAR, that's 877-43-SOLAR to hear more about our pre-launch offers. Our PV systems and finance options are custom designed for you and your home, making it quick and easy to gain energy independence. Fix your energy costs today by purchasing a solar system and protect yourself against NV Energy's rising rates by creating cheaper, cleaner power on your roof. Call 877-43-SOLAR. That's 877-437-6527 for your free site survey today. Check out Jersey Electric reviews on Angie's List.
When you're in a car wreck, it seems like the whole world is crashing down all around you. When this happens, you need someone who can help put the pieces of your life back together again. I'm Glenn Lerner. In my office, we deal with car wrecks every day. I have a team of professionals ready to work on your case the moment you call. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all, to 877-1500. I'm attorney Glenn Lerner.
Glenn Lerner is the way to go. Call 877-1500.
We hear a lot of talk about income inequality and how the government wants to fix it. Now you can fix it yourself. At AvengeSoftware.com, we're helping people start a new business to take control of their financial future. A new way to replace your job and retire early, all by working 2 hours a day. Call us today at 844-AVENGE-1 for a free trial. That's 844-AVENGE-1. And listen to our radio show, Avenging the 99%, on Sundays at 8 a.m. on KDWN.
Dave Carney here, inviting you to the all-new Live Las Vegas with me and my new co-host, Chad Forster. Every Friday from 1 till 2, Chad and I break down top Vegas news, sports from around the country, and entertainment in a really fun way. Yeah, that's right, talk radio can actually be fun. Live Las Vegas every Friday at 1.
Hi, this is Doug Basham. You know, the guy you just can't get enough of. Or is that the guy you just love to hate? In either case, join me every Saturday afternoon at 3 for something a bit different. That's Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. See you then.
Now, back to Live Las Vegas with Dave Carney and Chad Forster.
Yeah, welcome back to Live Las Vegas here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. Follow me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you have got the stomach, at Dapper Dave C, and it's because I'm a Dapper Dan man.
You get pretty rank on that thing, man. So I
do. I'm just letting you know right now.
Guidance is suggested.
Oh, absolutely. It's an NC-17 feed for sure. Of course, you can follow Chad, which is a much easier read, as Chad is, not prone to violence or outbursts as I am. You follow him at Chad Tweet Stuff. So very good stuff there. And you can follow us all at Live Las Vegas 720 on Twitter. Now, back here on the program, Chad, it's Friday, of course, and we have now got the entire weekend ahead of us. And what a big weekend it is here in Las Vegas. Let's get to it in our Entertainment Uncovered.
be a lady tonight.
You've worked all week. Now it's time to hit the town. We'll tell you where in this edition of Entertainment Uncovered.
All right, you swingers and swingettes. Chad over here at Chad Tweets Stuff on Twitter is going to break us down a little entertainment gossip and stuff from around the city. So what do we got here?
Well, the big
Norm?
thing, I forgot my eye patch.
Yeah, exactly.
The big thing this weekend is EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival,
Yes.
out the Las Vegas Motor Speedway with
Yummy.
some really big names. Some of these names that, I mean, these are so big, you might not even recognize them. Like Knife Party is going to be there. So if you're a big fan of Knife Party, they'll be there. Dada Life is going to be there. Luciano is going to be. I mean, this is just, if you like glow sticks and acid, this is no drugs. But I mean, it's if you're into the dance music, and the dance, it's out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Obviously, traffic's going to be a bit of an issue. It usually is, but they've really handled themselves pretty well, because we heard all these horror stories when they were going to come to Las Vegas that, oh man, there's people with drug overdoses and there's fights and deaths and blah 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 blah, and it hasn't happened, thank God. And hopefully that it's the same way this weekend. And there's this is a huge genre now. It didn't used to be, but this kind of music and this kind of with these DJs and stuff, and now they're kind of making it more contemporary with their music. It's going to be a big deal, but that's out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway starting tonight through Sunday. Here's one for you. This is one I picked out for you, Dave. Greg Allman performing tomorrow night at the Pearl at the Palms starting at 8 o'clock. Tickets, $49.
Hey, you know what? The Midnight Rider and me, we ride all the way. God, I love Greg.
Okay, if it's not Greg, then this is the other one I know you'd like. Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
And the Abiders.
The dude abides.
Tomorrow night, Rocks Lounge. Showtime's 8 o'clock. Friday, actually, it's tonight it's 7 o'clock. Or no, 7 o'clock on Saturday, 8 o'clock tonight. Tickets start at $67.
You know what? I would pay $100.
But the dude abides, though.
I was going to say, I'll pay $167 to see Jeff Bridges. First of all, one of my favorite all-time actors and all-time favorite cool guys, play some guitar. Now, I know he got panned in the movie Crazy Heart, but it was good. He can really play, man.
I've never seen that movie. I've never heard him play, but I love the dude. The dude is the man, one of the greatest. Big Lebowski, one of the greatest movies of all time. Rock Tales and Cocktails presents Meatloaf at the Planet Hollywood Theater. That is tomorrow night. Showtime, 7 o'clock. Tickets. This is what amazes me. $82.50.
Yeah. For a plate of meatloaf.
For some meatloaf.
Yeah.
I mean, food prices have gone up, but meatloaf is $82.50. How about this? If that's not your speed, you don't like meatloaf and you like a little bit more laid back, Michael Cavanaugh is going to be at the Smiths Center. Looks like tonight and tomorrow, 7 o'clock, $35 and $55 for those tickets, which is a little bit more reasonable. How about this? If you want to have a little humor, okay? Shatner's World. We just live in it. William Shatner performs his one-man show tonight, tomorrow night at the MGM Grand inside the Hollywood Theater. 8 o'clock start time. Tickets on that? $85 to see William Shatner. Are you kidding me?
Well, apparently they're going with the $85 because that's the last time he was relevant as TJ Hooker. So, if you go for $85, you can just bring that in. Well, obviously, I would love to go see
Great
Jeff.
show, by the way. Adrian Zemed in that.
Oh,
TJ
yeah.
Hooker.
Oh, it was a fantastic program. Nobody jumped over a car just like TJ Hooker. Oh, yeah, Bo Derek was in that, too. By the way, Bo Derek still looks fantastic. Now, tonight, I would love to go see Jeff Bridges and the Abiders over at the Rocks Lounge. Can't do it, though. We're going to talk about it as well in Pawn Talk Live, but I'm going back down. I don't know about you. I'm going back down to Exile on Main Street for Bike Night tonight. It is going to be awesome starting at 8 o'clock right down there at near the corner of Main Street and Charleston. Exile on Main Street having a couple of awesome bands. Of course, the Sailor Jerry Girls are going to be down there, and I'm going to be there. So really, you've got a full night of awesome entertainment.
Absolutely. One correction. It was Heather Locklear.
Oh, God.
Really?
It
was not Bo Derek.
Heather. Oh, God,
Heather
you're right.
Locklear.
I'm so sorry. Well, Bo Derek.
Another beautiful blonde.
You know
Speaking
what?
of beautiful blondes.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at the timing on this.
Look, I tell you what. We ask. What is it?
Ask and you shall receive.
Ask and you shall receive, and we are doing just that. We're lucky enough to be joined right now by Dina Mitchell from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Now, today is National Flip Flop Day. Is this something that was started by Tropical Smoothie Cafe, or is this a real holiday?
This is a real holiday that was started by Tropical Smoothie. And,
Sweet.
8 years now. Yeah, exactly. It's
awesome.
Actual holiday. It's funny. I was looking on the internet on the way here, looking at Google, and all these other people that have adapted it and applied it to their business or whatever. And there's some funny things out there.
Yeah.
And we're on the clock. It's 7 minutes away, right? 2
Right.
o'clock it starts, 2 to 7.
Oh, yeah.
Wear your flip-flops.
Yep, and hopefully you're not wearing socks with your flip-flops.
Oh, God.
What's wrong with that?
Is
that just nerdy?
Listen, the only way you can do that is if you're a basketball player, okay? Because if you wear the socks with, the athletic flip-flop afterwards and you start shooting baskets, it looks like you're supposed to be doing it. Now, let me ask you here, because I know that National Flip-Flop Day is, only a one-day celebration, but as soon as it gets to be about 82 degrees, I forbid shoes being worn on my feet unless I'm paid $1,000 for the evening. Do you think it's a good idea for everybody else to just wear flip-flops all the time? And comfort really would just raise, and I think everybody's spirits right along with it.
I'm still trying to think about what you do in the evening with your flip-flops for $1,000.
Without my flip-flops.
Oh,
So
without your flip-flops.
I'll put on shoes for $1,000. But I mean,
gets weird. It gets
other
weird.
than that, I don't need to wear shoes. I'll wear jeans with the flip-flops, a sport coat with the flip-flops. But it's really much too hot to be wearing shoes. So do you think this is something that we could expand and say Tropical Smoothie could, make it a summertime thing?
Well, I don't know about that. If we could do it, I mean, it's a national holiday. Something about having one particular day to have a holiday and celebrate it just makes it that much more exciting.
Yeah.
The longer it lasts, then you're still into it, but it's just not as special.
Well, and of course, it benefits Camp Sunshine, which is an amazing. Maybe you can maybe talk a little bit about what Camp Sunshine is.
Yeah, Camp Sunshine is a retreat out in Maine for children with life-threatening illnesses and their family to go and have a real vacation, but yet have 24-hour medical support for the family. So families with children, for example, like cancer or other illnesses, can go and be. A kid can be a real kid, and he doesn't
Forget about
feel
your
strange.
problems,
Absolutely. He's there with other kids, maybe with the same disease. So, and they get to do things that we take for granted. So we're sending as many families as we can. A family of 4. It basically costs $2,000. Doesn't include the airfare. And in fact, we have raised I think as of Sunday, over $180,000 here in Las Vegas. But the ironic thing is, I was checking, and we have yet to send a family from Las Vegas to Camp Sunshine, and that's simply because they haven't gone on and applied. So I think, the burden, comes to us that we're not doing a good job, of letting people know, which is why I'm trying to.
So it's not just about, hey, go and get yourself a free smoothie, wear your flip flops, and donate. But also, if you're a family out there and then you want to participate in this, they need to sign up for it.
Yeah, just go to campsunshine.org, follow the link, sign up. I was talking with the director too, and he agreed. He's like, yeah, I can't believe we haven't had anyone from Las Vegas. But yeah, it's not required at all. You just go to any tropical smoothie, wear your flip flops, and go get a free smoothie. We ask that you support Camp Sunshine and donate, but you're not required to do so at all.
Man, I tell you what, the free smoothie, then I'm going to have to get like a King Caesar wrap, and I'm going to get, a bag of chips, Sun Chips to go along with it.
You're going old school with that order.
Absolutely. Listen, the classics are the best. When we talk about Tropical Smoothie Cafe, I mean, it's really one of my favorite places because, as a relative health nut, it's one of the few quick service stores here in the Valley that you can always find, first of all, healthy and nutritious, delicious foods. How many locations are in Las Vegas now?
23 today.
Wow.
And there's 4 more under construction that are about to open.
Man, that's fantastic. Well, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, I mean, we appreciate so much, the events that we've been involved with here together, Pawn Talk Live over the years. And you guys really do a great job of supporting the community. So tell us again where folks in Las Vegas can go online and register for a chance to, be part of Camp Sunshine.
That's campsunshine.org. And you're right. We're thankful for the community support. We would not have the success that we have without the community. So we're all about pay it forward and involve the community as much as we can.
Well, let's get a first family from Las Vegas to go to Camp Sunshine. I think that's a goal for us.
Absolutely. No, I think it's something we can all get behind here. So again, guys, wear your flip-flops today. If you don't have them on already, I'm just going to say shame on you. I should be smacking people with
3
wet
minutes.
noodles. It's
3
right?
minutes
Oh
away.
my gosh.
So
we could do like a final countdown.
I'm 3 months and 3 minutes too early for National Flip Flop Day, but that is all right. I will take whatever I can get. Dina, thanks so much for coming on, joining us here today on Live in Las Vegas. Best of luck on National Flip Flop Day. Remember, campsunshine.org. We'd like a Las Vegas family to go online, register to win that very special trip. For Chad Forrester, I'm Dave Carney. Stay with us right here on News Talk 720 KDWN for Pawn Talk Live. We've got fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack in studio with us to answer your questions on valuables.
The best protection is early detection. 21st Century Oncology of Las Vegas wants you to find out more about cancer risks through regular screenings. Our expert team of physicians provides those facing a cancer diagnosis with state-of-the-art radiation therapy and the most sophisticated, compassionate care available. 21st Century Oncology provides the only centers in Las Vegas treating the whole person, not just the cancer, using integrative medicine to optimize cancer outcomes and minimize side effects. To learn more, call 877-833-6531.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Late Lavada, host of the Real Estate Zone, broker-owner for First Prime Realty Group. Listen in every Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. while he answers all of your real estate questions.